Well, it is a beautiful morning in the grasslands. The sun has just come over the trees, so it's pretty bright right now, but there's a beautiful low fog that's hanging over the grass, and it's just making this amazing scene right now. I'm out here trying to find and photograph some more warblers. I was out here 2 weeks ago now, and there's already more species that have arrived. There's indigo bunting that I've seen, eastern kingbird. So there's a lot of new birds here, and I'm just gonna see if I can take advantage of this beautiful light. I have a few hours to be here, and let's see if we can get anything, make anything happen. I'm also gonna keep my eyes out for kestrels. I saw 4 here last time as I was leaving, so I wanna see if I can find and maybe photograph any of those. But I think this fog is gonna burn off pretty quickly now that the sun is up. But it is just a beautiful morning, so let's see what we can do. One species I'd really like to try to photograph is the common yellow-throat warbler. It's a really cute, small little warbler. It's kind of like an olive-ish yellow. And then the female is also like an olive yellow tannish color. Both very pretty birds. But I'm gonna try to focus on just kind of finding and photographing one species at a time here. Especially when there's so many species in one area. It can get really overwhelming trying to photograph, you know, one species, then the next, based on what you find. But if you focus on just, okay, I'm gonna focus on just trying to find one species, you're gonna have more success in, number one, finding it and hopefully getting some photos of it. So the common yellow-throat is the first one I wanna try to photograph. And they typically like shrubby, brushy areas. So even though we're in the grasslands, there's still some shrubs and some clumps of trees. And that's where I wanna go to try to find these birds. That's where they hang out. And you can kind of hear them. They have this witchety call right there. So they're pretty easy to spot. And I see one that's calling on top of a tree right now. So I want to see if I can creep over towards it and hopefully get some photos and start with that. Now, as you're trying to approach a bird, especially something that has a pretty consistent perch, you don't want to go straight at them. It's very predatory. The birds will recognize that as a threat. So what you want to do is kind of meander towards them. I like to kind of go on like an arch pattern towards them. So I'm not going straight at them the entire time, but instead I'm kind of arching around towards them. And it just helps so that you're not actually just walking straight towards them. And right now the yellow-throat's perching on top of, it looks like a cedar tree, and just singing up there. So I'm still pretty far away, but I'm just going to kind of start getting some footage back here, see how it acts with me being here, and move closer as it gets comfortable. As you're approaching, another thing to consider is what's your background look like? So you don't want to approach and then realize that you ended up in the wrong spot because now your background is just a mess. So you want to approach kind of looking at all of these things and saying, okay, if I go to this location, the background's going to be this. If I go over to this side, then the background's going to be sky. I want to try to change that so it's a nice background. So when you get close, you don't have to suddenly move and change positions. So just kind of think of these things as you're approaching. And another thing that's really nice about when you have a bird that's kind of likes to be in a clump of shrubs in a relatively open area, especially with this kind of species, a common yellow-throat, you don't have to necessarily be too concerned about if the bird flies off. There's hundreds of other trees it's going to fly to. Instead, they try to kind of stay pretty close to their home area. So if there's a couple of shrubs, they might go within among those shrubs. But you're not gonna have to be too concerned about them flying so far away that you're just never gonna see them again. Now the male is still singing on top of the cedar tree here. The female kind of flew over into this area over here. So he's probably just singing, perching, and kind of keeping an eye out. I'm going to try to kind of go over this way a little bit closer, just go slow and see if I can get any closer. I'm still pretty far away, so let's see if we can do that. And as I'm doing that, I just want to keep an eye on what the male's doing. If it starts to look agitated and flying around, I'm just going to stop and pause, let it come back to normal, let it stay calm, and then continue on after it gets calm again. So. All right, the yellowthroat just flew down from its perch and went down into the grass. So since it's kind of not on alert right now, I'm going to just creep a little bit closer. So hopefully when it comes back on its perch to sing again, I'll be in the right position, be just that closer. Just landed back on its perch. All right, I managed to move away from the common yellowthroat. It's still singing up on its cedar tree there, which is really nice. It's always ideal when you can leave the bird as it was. And I'm just gonna kind of head down this way. I did catch a glimpse of a kestrel that was perched on a tree out in the middle of the field here, but it flew off and I'm not too sure where it went. But there's all sorts of bluebirds and sparrows and such over this way. So I'm gonna head over this way and see if I can find anything. So far I'm having a lot of success with common yellowthroats. There's so many more here than there were last time, and they're just pretty much on every perch along the trail you can just find hear one, which is really nice. Never complain about that. There's one kind of in front of me and all of this kind of sticks here. It actually just flew down into the ground, I think, to start foraging. There are also a lot of sparrows, but they're kind of staying down in the grass, so you can't really see them. You can hear them, but you can't really get any photos of them. I'm just gonna stick with, this is a pretty cooperative common yellowthroat male, and it's actually actively foraging, which is really nice, and it's down lower. So I'm gonna just spend some time with this bird here and see if I can get anything. It's nice that it's actually moving around and it's lower. Just has a nice, better perspective on things. Gotten down low and a little bit closer while the birds were far kind of moving around, and the yellowthroat is in front of me here, but I'm hoping that now that I'm lower I can maybe get a different perspective since this bird is staying lower in the brush and foraging. But we'll see. It just needs to come closer. The female is in here somewhere too, so I can hear her calling. She's over that way somewhere. Well, it didn't really work. The pair of common yellowthroats is too busy foraging. They're just staying down in the grass and just kind of moving around so much that they're not perching and singing anymore. So I'm gonna move on and see if I can find anything. I actually did see an indigo bunting that was nice and low, but it since flew off, chased after a female. So just gonna continue on and see if there's anything down this way. All right, so this is really awesome. Just found a grasshopper sparrow, which is an endangered species in Connecticut. Trying to get myself into position to get a better shot. I kind of saw it and got some footage, but it was just the sky in the background, so now I'm trying to get some trees in the background here. But I don't want to approach it too much because it is an endangered species, so let's see what we get. All right, it just flew off down to this lower section here, so I'm just going to see if I can do one more try to get it. I'm gonna have to find it again now because it went down below over this bank. So I'm just gonna try one more pass. If I can get any footage of it, I can. Otherwise, I'm gonna leave it alone. But it's the first time I've ever seen that species. It's a very distinct insecty call. Kind of sounds like a grasshopper, hence the grasshopper sparrow. So that's really neat. So the grasshopper sparrow actually kind of did a circle around me, and now it's back up on the tree that it was on when I first originally saw it and heard it. I think I'm gonna put on my 2x teleconverter and try to just go back where I was and get some closer up footage of it. I just need to circle around it because otherwise I get the sky behind it and it's just too bright and it just blows out all the details. So I just need to circle around it and hopefully be able to get some nice video, and I don't have to get too close. Try to go around this bird really slowly. Good news is its perch is pretty far off the trail, so I think we'll have enough space. Time will tell though. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna just leave it be. I don't want to disturb it. And I don't actually see it on its perch anymore that it was on. It was singing, but now it's stopped. So I'm just gonna get in position again. It's actually kind of better that it's not here right now because it seems to keep coming back to this one tree. So hopefully I'll have success in getting myself into position while it's not here, and then it'll fly back. Hopefully. This is really nice. It came back and it's now singing on the same perch that it has been. Feathers and coloration on this little bird are really impressive. It's just so cryptic. So many different colors mixed in. wish it would turn around and face me instead of singing away from me. All right, the grasshopper sparrow just flew off, so I took that opportunity to head out and leave. My time is up this morning anyway, so I'm gonna have to pack up and head out. But that was a really nice find. Really happy. This first time I've ever seen that species, and actually got some decent footage of it, so that's really nice. Also had some nice encounters with the common yellow-throat warbler. It's a common warbler, but they're so nice. They're so pretty. So I was really happy to be able to get that. But that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe, leave me a comment, hit that thumbs up button. I really appreciate it. It really helps the channel grow. And I will see you again in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.